The next step of your process is still looking into the inquiry lesson description and also developing your assessments, which are going to be very short and very small. Once then you have completed your overarching question, your standard and your goal or objective, you're going to flesh out this part right here about how your lesson involves student inquiry, considering these questions. So you will write up what it is the students are going to do that makes this inquiry. At this point, then you'll need to know what kind of resources you're going to provide them, what they're going to use to be able to engage in the inquiry. You're also going to situate this concept into a historical context. And I know this doesn't seem to fit the lesson very well, but it is a piece of what we're doing here, and it's important to consider this. So is it something that has to do with historical relevance, something that happened a while back? Let's say that you were, not for this activity, but for another lesson, let's say that you were developing a lesson over the flag, over the United States flag. Well, you would probably go back to when the 13 Stars and Stripes and bring it up to today. And in doing so, you might even include some discussion of other flags that have represented the U.S. or parts of the U.S., including the Civil War. Sorry, I can't think of the word. The one from the South during the Civil War. And so that would be part of historical relevance as well as current debates, because we know that debates over that concept taking place today. You're going to cite at least two sources in this. You may want to consider one that's a positive, one that's a negative, or if that doesn't work, whatever sources that you locate that are going to help you explain the historical context. And I will say that for this overall lesson plan, the area in which students are most likely to not earn full scores is with this right here. They leave this out, but we'll look at the rubric in a little bit, and you can see that this is a very significant part of this piece. All right, so back to our score sheet. With this, we have our lesson plan hook. How are you going to engage your students? You've developed hooks before, but really think of something that is a question or a riddle or a historic event that happened that they probably don't know about. Tell a story, but do something in a way that gets them very interested in what it is that they're going to be working in. The assessments we'll look at here very quickly. You're going to do pre-formative and post. And a good place to look, let me see, which did I? Let me pause just a second while I find this. If you're working with second grade, let's say that you're going to go then to the grade level framework. And from there, look at some of the engagement strategies. And we can see activating learning. That would be a pre-assessment and entry ticket, and then use the other part as an exit ticket later on. One thing that I do want to point out is the KWL chart. Do not use that. And I say that not because that's not a good quality way to activate learning, but because that tends to be very overused. I believe you get experiences with that in multiple classes. So let's stay away that one and find a different kind of pre-assessment that's going to help you figure out what it is your students know. It could also be something as simple as a fist to 5, or maybe they have colored paint sticks that you ask them some true-false questions. Your pre-assessment doesn't have to be something big and heavy. Hopefully, it'll be something that will help you understand what misconceptions the students may already have, because they may be familiar with the topic, but they may have a belief that's not accurate. And then if you want them to be doing some discussion among themselves, here are some ways to do civil discourse. And that could be related to your formative assessment. So a formative assessment is going to be just a short, simple one you do partway through the lesson so that you can see, are the students on track? Are they getting what it is that they need from this lesson? Are they understanding in a way that is going to lead them to success as they continue along? Because we've got to set up our students for success. If we see that they're struggling with something, then we know that it's our job to, all right, I've got to go back and see, what do I need to reteach? Where did we? And you won't have to explain that really in this lesson plan in particular, but it is important to know and be able to do that as educators. And then finally, you will also give some kind of a short post assessment. So lots of examples you can look at there. And that is going to be all that you have due for the second step, which will be due week 10. But it's important that you put some good effort into this, because the more work you do here, the easier that's going to make the development of the rest of your inquiry lesson plan.